Good evening and welcome to Wednesday Night Wellness Live. I'm Dr. Andrew Merrill here at Nightlight Chiropractic in downtown Orlando. And each week we do these Wednesday Night Wellness Live videos so that we can give out great information to you, the viewer or the patient, to make sure that you are getting all kinds of alternative answers to some of the common questions that we see each and every week. And I have a great video for you here today, right? So we were talking about it with a couple different patients here recently and a couple different friends recently about how common this actually is. So the two different conditions that we're going to see are something that you have or you know somebody who has had. I'd almost guarantee it. So let me preface it all with this. It got a little bit colder here in Central Florida. And I know, I'm not complaining, right? I have a lot of people who were watching these videos in the Northeast, and it's a lot colder there than it is here. It's only about 50 degrees or so here, 55 maybe. But with colder weather comes cold and flus, right? People are packed inside. People are inside more with other people who are sick, and then they in turn get sick. You actually don't get sick from being outside in the cold. A lot of times you get sick because your immune system is lower and you're around people who have all these other sicknesses and conditions. And then along with that comes sneezing, right? So tonight we're going to talk a little bit about sneezing because everyone out there has sneezed, and sneezing is an incredible source of lower back pain. I couldn't actually find statistics about how common this is, except that every single person you ask either has done this or knows somebody who has done this, which is to injure your back when you sneeze. Right? So let me get to it because this is a little bit crazy. When you sneeze, there's a right way to sneeze and a wrong way to sneeze. And we're going to talk about the wrong way first and what it does physiologically when you're actually sneezing. So when you sneeze, you're taking a big burst of air and then you blow out that air really hard. So you're expanding your thoracic cavity because your thoracic cavity has to expand. And so at the start of it, at the onset of it, what you're doing is you're taxing the muscles and the joints that are in your thoracic spine. Most people will lean forward when they sneeze. They'll lean over at the waist when they sneeze, right? And when they do that, they're increasing the amount of pressure on the discs in their spine. And so the last thing that happens along with that sneeze is an increase of something called intrathecal pressure. So surrounding your spinal cord itself, which is inside your spinal column, is the thecal sac, which is actually like the outer covering of your spinal cord. And when you cough or sneeze or strain, you're increasing that pressure. So now you're pressurizing the disc, you're pressurizing this intrathecal space, you're increasing the amount of tension and pressure on those muscles, and it's like designed to cause a back injury. And so we need to talk to you about what you can do to offset that, because it's a real thing. We have patients who come in and they say, I just sneezed, Dr. Merrill. I was just standing there in line at the grocery store and I sneezed, and now I need somebody. Now what happened here, right? So like I just talked about, and I hope I don't trip over myself here, but like I just mentioned a minute ago, most people when they sneeze lean forward at the waist and cover their mouth and they sneeze. And that's the wrong thing. We don't want that flexion posture. That's going to get us in big trouble. So what do we want to do? And I hope this is down low enough. What do we want to do? We want to basically dab, right? You want to dab, which is chicken wing it, right? You want to catch it into your chicken wing there. And then you want to use this hand instead of looking awesome. You want to take that hand and put it and hold it onto something so that you are in extension almost. There's a good curvature in your back still, and you're catching your sneeze so that you're not making a mess to everybody else, but you're supporting yourself too. So it takes some of the pressure off the discs, it takes some of the pressure off the muscles, it catches the sneeze, and that is how to sneeze appropriately. And it's so weird because if you look at this stuff, if you read about this stuff, there's not a whole lot of people talking about how to sneeze right and sneeze wrong, but that's how you do it, okay? So just then dab and then put that hand down and grab on and hang on so that it's not quite so violent, and it's going to protect your back when you actually do have to sneeze during this sickness season, cold and flu season, whatever it is. All right, the other thing I wanted to talk about tonight, again, way too common, is sleeping on a couch or, hey doc, I need to see you because I slept wrong, okay? See this all the time, and everyone always does it just like that. I slept wrong. And it's almost like a rite of passage, right? You turned 40, I just turned 40, and all of a sudden it's like, yep, I just sleep wrong. It used to be I had to be literally tackled by another human being to get back pain, but now, nope, my bed won that round. I guess we'll try again tonight. And so I want to talk about it in the context of sleeping on the couch first, right? Because this is something that you can avoid, you should avoid, you need to avoid this, because this is the quickest way to get back pain, I think. Almost on purpose. Falling asleep on your sofa is a good way to get back pain on purpose, because that's my argument. Anyways, couch makers and chiropractors are in cahoots. I bet you didn't know that, right? So the arms of couches are made to really injure your neck. They're actually made, strange, they're made for your arms. Armrests are made for your arms on couches. They're not made for your neck. So if you're trying to sleep on your side on this armrest, what you're going to get is this wood covered with polyurethane foam that is designed to rest your arm on, which is just a little bit of weight for a little bit of time, technically. And so if you put your neck on that and you take a nap of any length, I don't care if it's 5 minutes or 5 hours or 5 days, this happens, people, what you're going to get is neck pain, right? So that pressure of that wood on your neck is going to at least cause some of those joints to stop working well, at least cause some muscle strain injury as one side gets too much tension, the other side doesn't get enough tension, and that is going to lead to neck pain. So don't sleep on the couch, people. It's not designed to sleep on. It is designed to sit on and watch a football team or a soccer match. It is not designed to sleep on. When it's time to go to bed, or just do whatever it takes to avoid falling asleep on the couch. Okay, so now let's talk about sleeping wrong in bed, because we've alluded to this in some of these other videos, and if you go back and find our YouTube channel, or if you kind of filter back through our Facebook feed, you can probably see some of these videos. We've talked about sleep before and how important sleep is to all aspects of health, but we didn't really talk about sleep posture as much. And I get this all the time, how are you supposed to sleep? Like, what's the good sleep posture? And the research only really agrees with one thing, and that one thing is that you're not supposed to sleep face down with your head turned to the side. That's the only thing the research talks about, really, is that when we study this, it messes up your spinal curves, and therefore your spine is too straight from front to back. So you're supposed to have curves in your spine. When you sleep face down, you lose some of those curves, and it increases your risk for disc herniations later on in life. So don't sleep face down. We know that. What else is good? Well, so the other part of it is sleep is more important than sleep posture. So I'd even argue that if you can sleep, but the only way you can sleep is face down, then sleep face down, right? I mean, that's like a no-brainer. Sleep is much more important than the posture that you sleep in. So I would risk disc herniations later in life versus not being able to sleep for almost any length of time. Like sleep's that important that you want to do it. But sleeping on your back, sleeping on your side is fine. I would argue that if you have upper back injury, if you have shoulder injury, sleeping on your side is probably not the greatest idea. Your pillow should be determined, the size of your pillow, the shape of your pillow should be determined by your sleeping posture. So if you always sleep on your back, you want to have a very small, narrow pillow. If you always sleep on your side, you want to have a thicker pillow. If you're somewhere in between the two, then you probably want to have something in between the two, or something that you can beat up or fluff up or push down, depending on which posture that you're in. It's kind of important to not have more than one pillow. Right? So we see this a lot where patients have like 10 pillows on their bed and they're just hoping to grab the right one while they're unconscious. That never works well, folks. You need to have one pillow that you trust that is the guy, and that pillow is going to save you so that you can sleep in those different postures. So anyways, two different things: how to sneeze, dab, hang on to something; how to sleep, which is not face down and not on your couch. It is either going to be on your back or on your side, or, at the end of the day, I guess, whatever gets you some sleep. That's all I have for this evening. I'm always looking for great content to feed to you guys. So if you have any questions or comments for me, you can always hit me in the comments section right there. You can find us at www.nightlightchiropractic.com for appointments or things related to the office here in downtown Orlando. Otherwise, you can always go to drandrewmerrillblog.com, see all kinds of great information on the blog there. It's going to help you with a ton of different ideas and interests that you might not be getting anywhere else. So anyways, I will see you next Wednesday for another Wednesday Night Wellness Live. Have fun and be well.